State of play! Today, we're going to talk about the amazing state of play that just happened this Thursday. Oh, it wasn't amazing? I'm not supposed to just hype everything PlayStation touches. I'm going to be pissing off a lot of people if I do that. I'm supposed to act like everything PlayStation touches is gold, or else people aren't going to watch my YouTube videos. No, I can't criticize PlayStation. What don't you get? It was amazing. It wasn't mediocre. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen my whole entire life. That is how I would sound like if I was a huge PlayStation fanboy trying to hype up this stuff to the moon. If I was the part of PlayStation Twitter that no matter what PlayStation does, they automatically say that it's groundbreaking and that's it, Xbox is done. That's how it would sound like if I was one of those YouTubers, but I'm not. I'm here to talk to you honestly about the state of play and criticize what caused the state of play to be the way that it was, what tampered people's expectations and made this such a disappointment for many people. Let's get into it. So I find that when you talk about PlayStation, there are kind of two categories you could fall into. You can fall into the first category, which is the PlayStation fanatics, the PlayStation simps. These are the guys you don't want to be on a message board. They're the ones that creep into your comment section. They type things like PlayStation forever, LOL, Xbox sucks, blah, 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 blah. These are the people that PlayStation could break into their house, burn their house down, kill their pet, and then spit on them after kicking them in the nuts, and they will still say PlayStation is the best console in the world. Then you have the normal PlayStation fans who are a little bit more level-headed. They are accepting of criticisms. They'll call out Sony's bullshit when they can, while this camp over here would be like, oh, $10 is fine. If you can't afford $10, then, well, you shouldn't be a gamer. When it comes to these two, I fall more into the, level-headed regular PlayStation fan. I have my PlayStation 5. I enjoy it. I love it. I play the PlayStation exclusives. I think they're all great. The common theme that happened with this state of play, and I think what most fans experienced, was disappointment. Now, I don't think it's Sony's fault for this state of play to being disappointing. It's not like they tried to overhype it. They literally just said, hey, here's a state of play. It's going to air on Thursday. Come check it out. I think the big problem is, and there's two things that I think are the biggest contributors to the disappointment everyone felt on Thursday. You had insiders, and you had these PlayStation YouTube channels and PlayStation Twitter going crazy, hyping this thing up to the moon. They had such outlandish, insane predictions that anyone with half a brain would be like, there is no way PlayStation is showing this in the middle of February with a day notice of a state of play happening. You had things like PT being announced. You had things like Metal Gear Solid Remake being announced. You had a God of War Ragnarok trailer that was promised. You had a Horizon Zero Dawn 2 gameplay that was promised. And I'm sorry, but this is not something that PlayStation is to show in February. These are things that are E3 level events. And if E3 doesn't come this year because of the Rona, then whatever PlayStation decides to hold in June. PlayStation YouTubers and PlayStation Twitter have this tendency to get the people riled up for no reason, even when Sony doesn't say anything about the event. And then on top of that, after the event is done, they won't admit that what they saw wasn't that good. I have people saying, that's it. That's the final nail in the Xbox coffin. I'm sorry, but what is the final nail in PlayStation in Xbox's coffin? Kenya, which is a timed exclusive? Can PlayStation not have an event without sparking some kind of childish console war? All the time. Anything that PlayStation does, it's hyped like nothing else. At this point, they might as well be Apple. It's at the point where these consoles are part of people's identity, as if criticizing them is criticizing who they are as a person, and it's just completely insane. The best thing you could do is go in with no expectations and just absorb the media as it's presented to you. The next problem I think that this state of play had was we are 3 whole months into the gen and people are starving for a next gen experience. This has to be the only gen where we're 3 months in and there's no game that you can point to and be like, this is next gen. Maybe you could argue Demon Souls, but it's a remake of a PS3 game. Mind you, it's a great remake, but it's nothing new. I would argue it's not a new next gen experience. By this time last generation, we were seeing games like Titanfall, which was a genre-defying FPS game that many other games tried to mimic. You had Rise, which you could say whatever you want about Rise, but those graphics looked amazing. You had Infamous Second Son, you had Killzone Shadowfall. Like, you had these next-gen experiences either at launch or early in the gen. And we're 3 months in and there is nothing. We're probably waiting for Ratchet and Clank. There is nothing here in this state of play that was like, hey guys, I know you just bought a PlayStation 5. Maybe you got it from a scalper. Maybe you sold your kidney to get one. But these are the games that are coming. And your purchase is worth it. You went out, you bought this next-gen system, and you're going to have something that you're not going to be able to experience on the old gens. Now, it's not to say that this state of play was absolutely terrible. I said I think it was more, it was average, nothing special. They did show some really cool games. Kenna looked fantastic. I thought that Returnal looked amazing. I don't know why everyone was so hyped for Saifu. I thought it looked average. The Final Fantasy remake integrated the PlayStation 5 version of Final Fantasy. I thought it was really cool. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I loved it. I think it's kind of iffy that Square keeps like selling us bits and portions of the game. Though I'm gonna make a bold prediction right now. I'm calling it that this next gen version of Final Fantasy VII Remake is gonna show up on the Xbox Series X in one way or another. Mostly because the Final Fantasy VII exclusivity contract is over in March. So obviously they can't speak about any other versions of the games just yet. But I think come March, April, or any time before the game releases, they're going to announce the Xbox Series X port of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Squaresoft loves money. Or Square Enix, wow, I'm old. Square Enix loves money. What else did they show? Five Nights at Freddy's? That Five Nights at Freddy's. When the announcer said, oh, to those of you who like horror games, stay tuned, you're about to get scared. Something along those lines. My head shot straight up. I super focused on the TV. My heart started racing and I started thinking to myself, holy shit, they're actually going to announce PT. These insiders got something right. I can't wait. Holy shit, it's finally happening. And then they showed Five Nights at Freddy's. And my heart dropped. Once again, Sony played with my heart. I do think these state of plays serve a purpose, or these smaller shows serve a purpose. You gotta remember, not every game is a AAA, AA budget. These little small indie games, they really do need a way to get exposure. And I do think that these state of plays or events similar to this are a great way for these small studios and smaller games to get exposure. A game like Saifu or Kenna or Oddworld going to sell a lot of copies on PlayStation, and without any kind of exposure, I really think that their sales would do even worse. Anyways, guys, that's my opinion about this state of play. Let me know what you guys think. Did you enjoy it? Were you one of those guys that got suckered by these insiders and these YouTube channels and had your expectations set so high that you believed that this state of play was going to be an E3 level event? If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to hear me talk about more stupid video game stuff, let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this state of play. As always, if you enjoyed this and you want to see more, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Daskillva out.